Hello, good evening, happy Monday. Welcome back to Digital Era Twitch and to another episode of Decode Plus. I am one of your hosts for the evening, Taylor May, joined by Omega Z, who is calling in from calling in from his PS5. So
yeah, we hodgepodge things sometimes.
Yeah. So no webcam for Ken today, so you get Kratos instead.
I mean, it's still accurate. So
Fair enough. Also, I'm being told I should probably lower you a little bit. Let me do that right now. 1 second.
might be because I'm using PlayStation 5 controller as a microphone.
No, it might be because I had you for some reason turned up to 150% in Discord, so that should hopefully be better. I have no idea why it was doing that. Anyway, we are here for episode 2. Sorry we missed last month. I was going through some stuff, so we're not going to get into it. But we are here. I was going to try... I wanted to try to do this last week just to try to get a little bit closer to the first of the month, but I was literally just flying back in from out of town literally on Monday, so I was like, yeah, you know what, no way. I'm not even gonna try.
By the way, where were you?
That's classified.
Got it. But we have a fun show for you. You know, it's always best to do these things better late than never, I guess, sometimes. So here we are, a little over a month after our last episode. We got a lot to talk about, but we're going to be very specific. We're going to go over some of the recent award winners from both the BAFTA and the New York Game Awards. Similar winners between the two, so we're just going to highlight the games that won, talk a little bit about some stuff that we're doing with Helldivers 2, which, you know, falls into what we've been playing recently. And then we're also going to talk about the Sony State of Play that happened just a couple of weeks ago, actually. So it hasn't been too far off. But let's start with what we've been playing, because obviously we've been playing Helldivers 2. And if you're a fan of the channel or a fan of the brand, you know that we just debuted our first episode of Malevelon Creek, which is a very democratic quote-unquote parody. I'm not some. It's kind of our own thing, but there are some jokes in there, and we got our little, you know, we got some cool stuff planned for you guys. First episode is live on our YouTube. I'm very proud to be a part of this. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. The community has been reacting to it very positively, which is always a good thing. And you know, we got more coming. So I hope you enjoy it. And it's been a fun experience to do this little project with the Helldivers in-game stuff, sort of like our own take on Red versus Blue. Having a good time with it. So
it's been a lot of fun to be a part of for me. I've never been a part of a project quite like this before, so this has been a very fun new experience for me. Episode 1 was a lot of fun to film and record for, and like Ken said, there is absolutely more coming, but the handful of comments that we have received on episode 1 on our YouTube channel have been nothing but positive, and that just brings such a good feeling that it's like I love the feeling of making things that other people enjoy. So to know that there are other people in the Helldivers community that are enjoying this project alongside us enjoying making it, it just brings a warm and fuzzy feeling to my heart. So, and it just makes me more excited to do more of this. So,
yeah, I mean, this isn't my first rodeo, especially with D. You know, I've worked with Mario on so many various projects in the past, from Dojanopolis to promotional materials for various con-related things. The skits we've done in our own free time, the exhibition skits we've done for 2 New York Comic Cons, the Superman versus Goku 2 promotional stuff we did for Screw Attack Gaming. There's always something that pops up, and when it's something that Mario and I get to work on together, it's always a good time. And it's always fun, and it's always funny, and we share a lot of laughs, and we get to contribute something that delivers extremely good memories for everyone involved, and for everyone who enjoys those particular things, whether you're a fan of anime, whether you're a fan of video games. We've done many projects that have made people laugh and given a lot of memories to people. So I'm always excited to do that. I'm always excited to contribute. And this is just one where I'm like, yeah, we got to do this. This is fun.
It really is something special when you are able to create something that you enjoy alongside like-minded people who share those same passions and share that same creative drive, and the things that you end up making together not only bring joy to you, but like I said earlier, like bring joy to other people as well. That there's just something really, really special about finding that connection. So, and it's why one of the reasons I'm so happy to be here, because I'm surrounded by like-minded creative individuals that I can bounce ideas off of, that we can write silly little shows with. Malevelon Creek, HCW, just if we're just talking about my particular resume here at Digital Era, it's just so much fun. And I love every minute of it.
Yeah.
But anyway, enough about us. We got the BAFTA to talk about.
Yeah, we got BAFTA, and we got the New York Game Awards is kind of like a sort of an offshoot, so to speak. But a lot of the games, Foster 2, were very synonymous in terms of like who won, who got the high honors. So let's go down. I think I just lost the website again. Phone does not want to cooperate.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, the BAFTA winners for 2025 will go down periodically around this list. Let's talk about debut game. So the nominees on BAFTA for debut game were Animal Well, Balatro, Pacific Drive, The Plucky Squire, Tales of Kenzara. Thank goodness you're here. So a lot of really good first-time games, a lot of really good independent stuff listed there. The overall winner, I believe, was Animal Well, if I'm reading this right.
I could pull it up. Here we go. Let's see. Go away, cookies, whatever. Also, I realized earlier I may have had the wrong BAFTAs pulled up earlier, so let me pull up the right ones.
Yeah, not the ones with the actors and the actresses.
So yeah, debut game nominees were Animal Well, Balatro, Pacific Drive, Plucky Squire, Tales of Kenzara Zhao, and Thank Goodness You're Here. I mean, I know where my vote would have gone. I mean, but Balatro has taken over my life, so
yes.
Number go up.
Numbers go burr.
Basically.
Yeah. So those are the nominees. I expected to give it to I think Latro, maybe. I think that would be the best like debut game. As much as I love Animal Well. There's that.
I've also been hearing really, really good things about Thank Goodness You're Here. About just the very quaint, simple art style, but also the fact that it's just genuinely funny and entertaining as a game. Like, I really want to check it out myself. It looks like a really, really fun game. I make no promises. I
Yeah.
might
I
check
mean,
it out. I
of
might
the
check
list,
it out
that's
here on D Twitch. Maybe. We'll see.
so in my experience, the only one I have not played has been Thank Goodness You're Here, but I have heard very good.
The Plucky Squire I've also heard is really good, but I cannot for the life of me remember like what that one is.
That was the
okay.
Devolver Digital storybook game where it's like sort of like a Legend of Zelda-ish. He pops out of the book and goes into the real world.
Oh, if it's
Kind of
Devolver
adventure
Digital,
around.
then it's already a win in my book. Yeah, Devolver makes nothing but good stuff, in my experience.
They make really good stuff. They publish fantastic titles that are off the. I love the stuff that they do. But for this list, I think for debut game, I think Balatro should be the one that takes it home when the BAFTAs are held. I think it's next month, April 8th. So back to time to see who wins.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll come back and revisit the actual winners of the BAFTA like after they happen. I'm fully expecting for both of us to have some hot takes on this particular show.
Yeah, for
when
sure.
we circle back around to it. But yeah, honestly, my vote would have to go to Balatro. It has a very special place in my heart.
So next nomination I want to look at is the nominees for animation. And nominated here were Astrobot, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Lego Horizon Adventures, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, Thank Goodness You're Here, and Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. So this is tough because like one thing, this might be a hot take, is like none of these games did anything to really enhance animation in video games. But if there's a game here that was the most wonderfully animated out of the 6 nominees in this one, I really like how Astrobot was animated over a lot of these games. And this is me saying this. I'm saying this over Warhammer 40k. So
I admittedly I don't have a lot of time to play games all that much anymore these days. I certainly don't have the budget to buy new games. Like good lord. So, but just based on what I have seen on just the little bit, like Warhammer 40k, like obviously I'm going to be biased there just because I have a 5,000 some odd point miniature army in my closet right now of salamanders. So
wow.
I'm collected and built over the course of several years.
I wish I had the money to buy the miniatures.
Trust me, no you don't. It is not a hobby that you can afford.
I already play expensive card games. I think I'm good.
Yeah, I'd say stick to what you know. You cannot afford both, I'll tell you that right now.
For sure.
But like I have seen a lot of gameplay of Warhammer 40k and it looks phenomenal. Call of Duty Black Ops 6, as much I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for saying this or not. Mario, feel free to bonk me if I need to stop talking at any point. But like Activision Blizzard has been on my shit list for many years now for a multitude of reasons. So I feel like I inherently have to steer my vote away from Call of Duty simply on principle. That being said, I cannot deny that the recent Call of Duty games, again, from what I have seen, have actually been really, really good in terms of their story and their animation. Like, just the overall art style, the animation, everything is just, it looks so clean, it's smooth, and I hate to give any sort of credit whatsoever to ActiBliz, but damn it, Black Ops actually looks very pretty.
Yeah, I mean, I only played the single player campaign for Black Ops, and that was like amazingly good. Like, it surprised me. I was like, wow, this is an amazing campaign. Why can't they do this consistently year in and year out?
Yeah.
I don't know. But like Activision Blizzard, as much as we've done them in the previous iteration of this podcast, like Gino and I have gone to town on Activision Blizzard, but there are some really talented individuals that work at this studio, and I feel terrible that like I think they know that they're like do really good stuff, but man, we work with a really crappy company.
Yeah.
And like, I love Diablo, for example. Like, the first three Diablos are some of my favorite action RPGs, and I couldn't stick with 4. I was just like, this does not feel like the Diablo I love. I mean, I collected the figures because I was like, I like the franchise enough that I still wanted to do that, but I just cannot in good conscience stick with the game. So, you know, I sold it, you know, I got rid of it. And I'm like, if I want my Diablo experience, I still have part 3. I play that one, you know, random seasons here and there. That's about my experience with it. You know, I wish they had the about face that a company like EA did somewhat, because EA still makes a little blunders here and there.
Even then.
But yeah, no, like having Call of Duty be nominated for animation completely makes sense, especially because of this game, Black Ops 6, where they redid their engine. They're using a whole new animation method, and it is fantastic. You know, it's amazing what they do with that game. But yeah, it's an interesting category. You know, anyone who's like, why are they nominated for that? And it's like, well, because they did a really good job.
And that's the thing, they really did. Like, Black Ops 6, phenomenal. I just don't like giving Activision Blizzard any sort of credit whatsoever to make them feel good. So,
oh, for sure. I would never give them accolades. I will give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, hey, you know what? You did a really good single player campaign. Unfortunately, like 90% of your community does not play this game for the single player campaign.
No, they don't.
We appreciate that you do it.
There was a point in time where the only game I played was Overwatch, and I loved the hell out of it. And it makes me a little bit sad. I guess less so seeing the direction that Activision Blizzard was going, and more realizing that they were kind of like this all along, and it's only just now coming to light as like all the stuff going on behind the scenes. Because
right.
I now refer to myself very firmly as a happily retired Overwatch player. And at this point, I honestly just have no interest in going back to it. Even if Activision Blizzard were to somehow turn over their entire management and leadership team at the very top overnight, even then, I'm like, I've kind of lost my love for it. And that makes me a little bit sad, because this was a game that I sunk hundreds of hours into and enjoyed the hell out of. And nothing is ever going to take away those happy memories from me playing Overwatch.
You should come over to more. You should come over to Marvel Rivals. Try that one.
I'm thinking about it. Maybe. Maybe. We'll see.
I dabble in it. So, yeah, it's an acquired taste. Let's see. Let's check.
No, it just.
I want to talk about the artistic achievement category here. Because again, we have Astrobot nominated. We also have Black Myth Wukong, Harold Halibut, Neva from the creators of Grease, Sonoa Saga Help 2, and Still Wakes the Deep were the nominees for artistic achievement. And obviously, this is because of how the game was like designed in terms of visual looks,
Mhm.
visual flair. Um, Neva to me is the one that stands out more so. That might be my Grease bias showing. But
You biased?
these guys make
No.
just a little bit.
Just a little.
Just a little bit. No, but like Grease was a fantastic game. You know, I remember when we streamed it, and when we were working on our top 10 list for that year, I showed it to Mario and we played it on stream, and he was like, "Yeah, this has to make the list." And I was like, "Yeah, see, I told you, we have to redo the list." And we were like pretty close to like finalizing what we were doing. I was like, "I think we need to slide this one in." And it was just one of those moments where like I played it on stream, we beat it on stream, and then it was like, "Yeah, this has to make the top 10 list." And then Neva is just as good. Like, fantastic story. I love that game. But I did want to talk also about Still Wakes the Deep, which is a kind of like a horror walking simulator style game. And I think that one, I would give kudos to that game because a lot of the visual elements that went into that game, especially when it came to the body horror sequences that happen in that game. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that in a video game beforehand. So it was one of those experiences where I was like, wow, they put some work into this. And when you're trying to go through it takes place on like an oil rig, and you know, typical things that happen on an oil rig happen, and then you combine that with a thing like monster, so to speak. It's amazing how well they put that game together. Bless you.
Thank you.
But yeah, I just wanted to point like those two are the ones that stick out for me on this list.
Gotcha.
If you haven't played Still Wakes the Deep, check it out. Look up a video. Like it's a really good game. And if it's ever on sale, if it comes across as a freebie around, you know, whether it's like on a Steam freebie or Epic Games freebie, I highly recommend it.
I'm gonna have to take a look at this. Yeah, it looks really interesting.
Yeah, definitely look it up. It's such a great game.
The fact that it takes place on an oil rig too, I can imagine it probably getting, probably moments where it gets a little claustrophobic.
It definitely feels that way.
That is interesting. I am gonna have to check that out.
Any category that you want to talk about on this long of BAFTA nominees?
Let's see here. Not particularly. Again, like admittedly, I haven't really had a lot of time to delve too much into all of this because I've been,
For sure.
I've been busy as hell. So like that's why I said earlier, I'm
Indeed,
basically gonna
yeah.
be queuing off of you tonight. So it's like
That's fine.
If you want to talk about something, feel free. I'll throw in my thoughts if I have any. So which games are nominated for music? Mario is asking. Let's go find out. Actually, we have.
So I believe, yeah,
We
got
have
it.
Astrobot, Black Myth Wukong, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Helldivers 2, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, and Star Wars Outlaws. I mean, obviously, I think I think I know where most of our votes are going.
We know where Helldivers 2. What's funny is Helldivers 2 composer is the same guy who did Star Wars Outlaw.
Really?
Which is hilarious. He's nominated twice, basically. I would obviously say his better work is in Helldivers 2, so.
I would have to agree, although I have heard the music for Star Wars Outlaws, and it is phenomenal. Also scored the Gundam show on Netflix. Jeez, you want to talk about a prestigious resume? Good lord.
Yeah, for sure. He up there. Wilbur Roger is he's very renowned. He's done a lot of great work. and he continues to do really great work. His Helldivers 2 score is just amazing. Nothing short of it. Like there is no theme that when you hear it, you like instantly know what game it is, especially if you're a gamer. Like you could just hear the music and you go, that's Helldivers. And then at the same time, it evokes so much emotion. Like just when you're sitting playing the game, you could have heard it 1,000 times by now, but it just gives you that like hype, that feeling of like, yeah, this is gonna be awesome.
Every
and it's
time
very hard to do something like that with music.
It can be really difficult, and it really helps if you have a composer that really knows what they're doing in terms of being able to arrange a score in such a way that it can evoke those emotions. Because every time I hear that opening swell of the Helldivers 2 theme, it's just it brings a smile to my face every single time, and I can't help it. It's just so good. Also, I don't know how many people watching or listening to this are musically inclined. The 5/4 time signature works so well. Like, that's not your typical standard time signature that you would use for something like this, but it works incredibly well. I remember listening to it and like listening to it and processing it, and I was like, oh, I see you. I see what you're doing. I hear you.
Yeah. And what I look about the whole 4 or 5 signatures, how the song goes back and forth between the two over across the entire melody. And it segues into one another so fluidly.
Mm-hmm.
It's just an amazing piece of work. I also want to talk about, speaking of music that evokes emotion,
Sure.
the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth soundtrack is just pure nostalgia. What they did with that soundtrack is nothing short of amazing. The fact that they intertwined the open world theme from, if you remember the overworld theme for Final Fantasy VII, into the game's battle theme was something nothing short of genius. I think it's one of my favorite tracks of music from the game, not including the Sephiroth battle at the end. Sephiroth.
Well, I mean, it's iconic battle theme. Like, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to top that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think in this one, I kind of see it going to Helldivers 2 for this one. So that's who I would pick. Almost the same games kind of nominated for narrative. We have Black Myth Wukong, Dragon Age: The Veilguard, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Metaphor ReFantazio, the newest saga Hellblade 2, and Still Wakes the Deep, nominated for narrative over in the BAFTAs. Some interesting picks. I think we had really good games with story. One of the things that I'm surprised was that Neva wasn't nominated for this category. So that's a big surprise for me. I honestly felt that story was really good. I feel like that's a miss from BAFTA. Not to say that I know more than distinguished people in the industry. Just saying, it's one of those feels like a little miss. I'm honestly surprised Dragon Age: The Veilguard is on this. It's very easy to dunk on this game, but as someone who is off and on with Dragon Age, I did not like the Veilguard story. I liked how it played. The gameplay was okay. Thought it looked very pretty. The story was the big miss for me. So I'm kind of surprised to see it nominated for narrative in this. But again, that's just maybe my own personal bias with how I view storytelling, how I view writing and narration
Sure.
in the game. That's just me, you know.
Well, and I mean, at the end of the day, that's why we have our own game awards right here on Digital Era Twitch at the end of every year.
Exactly.
So it's like we don't like how they categorized or how they awarded these games, so we're gonna do it our way, the way that we like it, because we can.
Yeah.
I feel like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is the layup for this category to take it home.
Yeah.
I think like any
It
of them
really
could.
does.
Any of them could. Final Fantasy feels like the layup, and I will not be shocked if it ends up taking it.
For sure. I don't think there's any reason to really go over the best game category because it's either a layup for Astrobot or it's a layup for Helldivers 2. I don't think anything else comes close that's been nominated. The Helldivers 2 has been winning a lot of awards lately, though. It's insane.
And rightfully so.
How many accolades they've gotten. And for good reason. So same thing with Astrobot, you know. Because it's always interesting when someone takes the Nintendo modus operandi and just kind of turns it on its head a little bit. You know, I remember when we gave Psychonauts 2 Game of the Year that it came out. In that video, we said, you know, that it's always good when another developer says, hey, we can take this ball and roll with it too.
Mm-hmm.
And what made Psychonauts 2 so special was how cross-generative it was, because it's a game clearly made for older players, but it has the gameplay stylings for the younger players. And then you have Team Asobi, who makes something like Astrobot, and it's like, this is for everybody. And especially if you've grown up with PlayStation or have been with PlayStation a long time, you know, like I have. I've been a PlayStation gamer since they first came out. It's very much the Nintendo MO, but with the Sony coat of paint on it. And they put together such a marvelous how it controls, how it uses the PlayStation 5 controller, how it's a giant love letter to PlayStation. Like, they did so much right with that game. So either way, you know, Astrobot or Helldivers 2, either way, Sony wins. So,
oh yeah,
know.
Fair enough. Helldivers 2 is just one of those games where, like, is it buggy at times? Yes. Can it break at times? Yes. But it also has one of the strongest senses of community support that I think I've ever seen in a game. In that, like, if things happen, they acknowledge it. They go in and fix it. We saw recently where the Galactic War map, or like the Galactic map actually ended up getting borked in game. Like it just straight up broke. And so as a result, the Helldivers dev team came forward and said, yeah, so this thing broke really bad. We understand this is not good. We are going to pause the entire war so we can fix this thing to prevent people from failing certain objectives or us not being able to complete the major orders in time, because if the map breaks, it basically kind of breaks the whole game, and there's really kind of we're kind of SOL otherwise. So the fact that they went out of their way to say, okay, we're putting all of the like anything that's on the timer, we're putting a pause on it. So don't even worry about it. We will resume the timers once we know it is fixed. Who else does that?
Nobody.
Game of the year every year until the servers go down.
That makes my job easier then. Hey, what's the game of the year for 2025? Helldivers 2.
Spoiler alert. Or
speaking of Sony,
or Sony fumbles parentheses again. Yeah, good point.
Speaking of Sony, they held a state of play in the middle of where they showcased a bunch of games and a lot of really good games. So we're gonna talk about some of the games that impressed us. I know friend of the channel and also our host of the Happy Hour, Jace, very excited that Borderlands 4 was announced.
Oh, same.
Yeah,
I cannot wait. Like
I'm
Borderlands,
excited.
like Borderlands is a game that is very, very special to me because it was a game that I honestly I didn't get into the Borderlands franchise until very recently when I my first full Borderlands playthrough of a game was Borderlands 3, and I played it co-op with my wife. And that just made it so much more special. And I immediately just fell in love with this whole franchise. I went back and I played Borderlands 1. I'm currently playing through Borderlands 2. I might do a new game plus of Borderlands 3. I want to get back around to it. I know we want to play like the pre-sequel. We want to play Tiny Tina and like Tiny Tina's Wonderland. And now Borderlands 4. Give it to me now.
I'm glad it comes out in September because that's happy birthday to me. So. And I've been debating reacquiring the games for some time. I've mentioned this numerous times in our Discord. I'm just like, man, I miss Borderlands because I traded them all in for like other games and stuff.
Yeah.
And then like as time has gone on, I sometimes I'll walk into a game store and I see the handsome collection on that. About getting it. And now they announced 4, so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna wait. Because 4 looks really good. And I think it'll allow for some cool co-op streams if we can coordinate it. Maybe, you'll see some Jason Omega Z co-op at some point in the future.
That could be fun.
Something to think about. Going down the list of some things, I'm not going to go over state of play. Days Gone Remaster, which had some excitement from fans of that game. Days Gone wasn't a terrible game. It just wasn't anything to really write home about. Your very standard post-apocalyptic zombie open world game. Had a very good story. Guy, loses his wife, tries to reconnect with his own personal humanity, and it's kind of hard to do that when humanity's kind of gone to crap and there's zombies just everywhere. If you think about your typical zombie story, your zombie cliches, and then the same like the open world stuff, it's got your towers, your encampments that you got to invade in. Like it's really nothing special on that end, but it's really nice to see that a team, especially the team that was behind the Siphon Filter games, branched out a bit, so to speak, to do something different. And I enjoyed it, so it getting a remaster is cool. What else did we get? We got Digimon Time Stranger. That game came out of nowhere.
I never really got into Digimon.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing, like, because I got into Digimon, with the original show back when I was like a wee teenager in the Stone Age. And like I was off and on with that franchise, especially with the card game too. Like I was off and on. I'm completely off. But I understand it has popularity. Like it's amazing, like the popularity that's behind that particular game.
I might take a look at
it. We got a new title called Directive 8020. This is from Supermassive Games. They'll be releasing this one October 2nd, so we got some time for that one. There was a game called Dreams of Another, which is developed by Q Games, which is the newest addition to the Pixel Junk games. And if you're not familiar with the Pixel Junk games, I highly recommend them. They're fantastic, indie games, Pixel Junk Monsters, Pixel Junk Shooter. They're all amazing. This one looks to be like their most unconventional thing that they've ever made, where it's a third-person exploration action game. And rather than destroying stuff when you shoot it, your shots materialize and actually build the world. So you can continue to go through the game. And I think that's really cool. I think that's a really nice idea. Like that it twists the shooter genre sort of its head that way. No release date, but it's definitely one that I'm looking forward to as well. It's going to be coming to PlayStation 5 and PlayStation VR 2. It's supposed to come out this year, but again, like I said, no release date. So, one to keep an eye on. Another title was Hell Is Us, coming out September 4th, I believe. And actually, no, it's going to have a state of play. Yeah, it had the release date on this state of play of September 4th. Really interesting game. Some sort of like action adventure, post-apocalyptic, dark times have affected us kind of game. Yeah, so, typical stuff from the action RPG genres. We got some Chinese developed games as well. We saw the first real full trailer for Lost Soul Aside, which is launching on PlayStation 5 and PC in May 30th, I believe. And it looks like a crazy, like, Devil May Cry-ish action and adventure game. The thing, too, that really surprises me about Lost Soul Aside is it was mainly developed by one person. So it's kind of like that asset flip style game, but it looks really good. So I'm excited for that one. One of the games that they showed that I'm a little excited about is the Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater remake. It's dropping on PlayStation 5 in August. I don't see Konami doing justice for this game outside of it being very pretty. Like, if it doesn't have the Hideo Kojima game stuff in it, I want no parts of it. Like, I'll just avoid it. So. There's that. Going down, we got some Capcom news where Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny is getting a remaster. And that's coming out in May, and then we got a new Onimusha called Way of the Sword that stars the protagonist is Miyamoto Musashi, and it's gonna be having Japanese samurai movie star Toshiro Mifune, who's the face model for Miyamoto Musashi, which amazing. Like, we're back. We're so back. Like, that's how hype I am about Onimusha. We're so back. And like how I'm feeling about Onimusha, I think is how you felt about the Okami announcement when it happened. Like, even though you haven't played it and you kind of feel like you're late to the party. No, when it comes to video games, there's no late to the party. It's like, hey, this looks really good, and we just go, yes, please come join the party, join us in Okami. So I can't wait till you play it. I think you're gonna love that game.
Oh, I can't wait.
And then the final state of play game was a game called Sorrows, which comes from Housemarque, the creators of many awesome games like Returnal. This one looks to continue their action adventure, live, die, repeat style game. The roguelike, as we have come to know them as. An extended gameplay look will be released later this year. So I'm excited for that one too. Returnal was amazing. Returnal was an amazing PlayStation 5 title. This game, Sorrows, looks just as amazing. It's one that I'm definitely anticipating, for sure. But overall, the state of play was really good. Probably the best one they've had in a long time. Considering some of the they've had like prior to this have been kind of like meh.
I've heard that like Sony State of Plays, they can either be really, really good or they can fall flat and there's kind of no in between.
That's pretty accurate. Like, even the ones that kind of mid and to lean heavily towards like email. I would have preferred like a PlayStation blog write-up than what they've actually showed sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm one of like the 7 people that still reads the PlayStation blog.
Literally, the definition of this meeting could have been an email.
Yeah, some of their stated plays have definitely been that, and not to like discredit them, like they try. There's even been some Nintendo Directs where I'm like, y'all hype about this? Like this could have been like a blog post.
Yeah. PlayStation blog basically written for Ken and a handful of other people.
I will say I love that Nintendo and Sony are the ones that do them more periodically, because Microsoft does them once in a blue moon. They showcase like 4 games, and like of games they show off, I only care about one of them.
I'll be honest, I wasn't even aware that Microsoft even did things like this, so that's news to me. If that tells you anything.
Yeah, they do. It's really it's really like out of the blue, random, and you're like, okay. So usually when they announce it, I just wait till like, I don't even watch it. I just wait. Like, okay, I wait till like it's on a website, and I go, what did they reveal? So like the most recent one, it was like Doom: The Dark Age. So I was like, oh, they showed a new Doom. I'll go YouTube that. Cool. I saved myself 20, 30 minutes or however long the show was. Is it annual? I don't know. I feel like they've done it twice a year since last year. I feel like there was 2 different ones. Although it could be just like I could be mixing it up with something. I wish they could do more, but they're so focused on being multi-platform and making sure everything's in Xbox, including your toaster. So kudos to them. I'm gonna play on my smart fridge at some point. If I can play Forza Horizon on my fridge,
I'm gonna play Halo on my rice cooker.
Right? The Xbox everywhere. Oh man, it's really interesting. Since we're on the subject, it's really interesting to see so many of these formerly first-party titles be thrown to other platforms. It's a really interesting strategy.
It feels more and more like the days of console exclusivity are starting to fade behind us. Like every now and then, like we get the odd title every now and then that may be temporarily exclusive to a certain platform, and then you wait 6 months and it's like, oh, it's available everywhere. Whereas like back in the day, even today, for example, Halo, you can only play on a Microsoft system, Xbox or PC, and that's like locked in. That is theirs. They're not letting it go. But you also have so many, like a lot of like Sony games and PlayStation games that were formerly like Sony exclusives. I could play those anywhere now. I could get them on Xbox. I could get them through Steam. And there was a point in time where I was considering getting a PS4 over an Xbox One because PlayStation had the more appealing exclusives to me. And they just had more of them. They just had a much wider variety. It's like, okay, like exclusives for Xbox. Like, what do they have that interests me? Halo and Forza. That's about it. Whereas like Sony had just a plethora of different titles and IPs across multiple genres that they had exclusive to their platform, and I was like, I want to invest in that. And now I'm 90% of those games that were exclusive I can get on Steam now. So like, what's even the point? So
yeah, like if you're patient enough, eventually a Sony first party title will be on PC. So for the people who primarily play on PC, I understand and I get it. Like, there's no reason to get a PS5. There's no reason to get, an Xbox.
Yeah.
Like, have the best of both worlds if you're patient enough. And then sometimes some of these games are coming out simultaneous, PlayStation, PC, etc.
Mhm.
Um, so
I mean, like with the budget that I'm on too, it's like I can't afford to buy a new game at release anyway. Like at release price, I'm better off waiting anyway because by the time it makes its way over like to the other platforms, including Steam, chances are by that point it'll have seen a price drop. So I'm gonna save money by waiting anyway.
yeah, I used to buy a lot of games like right at release, but thanks to things like Games Pass or like Game Share, stuff like that, like I have saved a lot of money just waiting. Um, so that's a thing. So for me, like I feel like, especially when a lot of games come out very close to one another, I've been very hesitant because sometimes I get that gut feeling where I'm like, I don't think this game's gonna be good. I'm gonna wait, see what happens. And 9 times out of 10, I'm correct. Like sometimes the game's just like bad, or it launches in a very buggy state, and or sometimes the game just outright sucks. And I'm like, damn, this is one I was looking forward to. And the utter crap. Oh well, I'll get the next thing that comes out that might intrigue me.
The,
Um,
the only game I can think of that I bought at release or like immediately after it released was Halo Reach for the 360. I cannot think of any other game that I have purchased that I bought it like on or immediately after release. Although there is one game, one like to this day, there is only one single game that I have ever pre-ordered. You want to know what game that was?
what?
It was Overwatch.
I didn't. That's funny. How the mighty have fallen.
Oh my god.
That game.
All right, you want to move on to the New York Game Awards?
Not really.
All right, I guess we're done
They
here. Have a good night,
happened.
everyone.
It's just like this year. I would say this. You can speak about it briefly. I'm not going to go into the nominees or anything.
Sure.
This year's, if you watched it live, for those are like me where you watched, this year just dragged so hard because they were trying to do so much with like all these different organizations and highlight all the information. This isn't what I'm here for.
Mhm.
I'm here to see games and them win awards. So this year's was not the best to sit through, whether you saw it live, in person, or on stream.
Yeah.
It felt like watching paint dry while you waited for the dentist.
The way you're describing it, I feel like I would rather sit through another Christopher Judge acceptance speech than have to sit through that show.
I would too, yeah. But the New York Game Awards, they happen, every February-ish, and if you want to talk about who won, the winners, Astrobot won the Game of the Year award for this one. Helldivers won some awards. Final Fantasy VII won some awards. There were a couple of like other winners for random game that maybe like 12 people played. Somehow they got some type of award for that, But this year it wasn't the best to sit through. I sat through it. I watched it and I sat through it, so you don't have to.
We appreciate your sacrifice.
Yeah, the themes for the New York Game Awards are funny. This year, they weren't that New York centric for some reason. I feel like they just did a whole about face and how they presented the New York Game Awards. But they have Richard Fees and me, so they're still positive there.
The only other award show
I think we had Dice happen.
we did.
I feel like I talked about it in the Discord.
Yeah, we hadn't had a
But
chance
I
to talk
don't
about it on the podcast yet.
uh, look that up now because I feel like that happened recently. Like that was also in February, right? Yes, it was. Oh,
Yeah. So just kind of running through these real quick. Outstanding achievement in animation went to Astrobot. Outstanding achievement in art direction, Black Myth Wukong. I'm gonna skim over some of these. Outstanding achievement in original music composition, Hell Divers 2.
well deserved.
They also took home outstanding achievement in audio design. Astrobot took home technical achievement. Helldivers 2 Action Game of the Year, well deserved. If that had gone to Call of Duty, I would have rioted. Astrobot winning Family Game of the Year. Fighting Game of the Year, Tekken 8, no surprises there. Role-playing Game of the Year, beating out Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Metaphor ReFantasio.
Ooh.
Taking home RPG of the Year. Strategy/simulation Game of the Year, Balatro. Well deserved. Let's see. Balatro also taking home outstanding achievement for an independent game. And mobile Game of the Year, beating out Wuthering Waves. Ha!
Take that, Hoyoverse.
Anytime I see Hoyoverse take an L, it makes me happy.
It brings me joy.
Astrobot for outstanding achievement in game design. Animal Well taking home achievement in game direction. And Game of the Year, of course, going to Astrobot.
Yeah. That was Dice in a nutshell. So, but yeah, I don't have any objections to that. Like anytime a game like Astrobot or Helldivers is mentioned and nominated, or then it's just deservedly so. I think they're like two of the best games that were released last year.
Mm-hmm.
Alongside other games that I've played, like as much as I love Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2, that to me was my personal game of the year. But I acknowledge that Astrobot and Helldivers 2 were just really that amazing. So lots of good games last year, and we have a lot to go through this year. We got some good games coming out, so it's anyone's ball game.
Oh, yeah.
For 2025.
Still a
But
lot
if
of
there's
gaming
anything
ahead of us.
yeah, I mean, right now, any game that I think deserves to be talked about now, as we're in the middle of March right now, almost 3 months into the year, I think Split Fiction is a game that deserves to be talked about. From Joseph Fares, the creator of It Takes Two and Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons and A Way Out. Just another amazing hit from another very auteur director who's worked in movies and now he's in games. He's doing amazing games. Split Fiction is everything that It Takes Two was, just upped to like the nth degree, basically. So I definitely think that's like one of the standout titles so far that I've played as we are in the first 3 months of 2025. We have one good one so far.
Hopefully many more to come throughout the rest of the year.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm trying to think like what's coming up because I know Dune: The Dark Ages is in May. I'm looking forward to that one. I think June we have Death Stranding 2.
Oh,
So
right. We are getting Death Stranding too.
yes, we are. Norman Reedus and the Funky Fetus Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. Did you see that trailer by any chance?
I don't remember if I did or not.
I want to
I'll have to
know
look
what
it up.
drugs Kojima does.
Featuring
I want some.
Italian Snake? What? Okay, now I have to look at this
You'll see
trailer.
when you watch it. When you watch it, you'll have this.
Oh my
Uh,
god. If you,
I cried when I watched the trailer. Like I was sitting next to my partner, I'm watching it, and when Kojima's unnatural for picking good music for his trailers. You know, when I say that he is the Quentin Tarantino of video games, this is one of those trailers that showcases exactly that.
Mhm.
Um, it's a very long train, so definitely watch it after the show.
Yeah, I certainly
But
will.
it's
If you want to stick around after the show, I can watch it while we're still in the Discord call, so you can get my real time reaction.
okay.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think we're good here. You know,
rather all around well-rounded award season for gaming. I think this year, a lot of well-deserved titles took home a lot of awards from just the various shows. So they have all these new accolades that they can add to their resume, deservedly so. Like anytime Balatro takes home an award, that makes me smile on the inside. Helldivers 2 continuing to get the recognition that it very much deserves, and I hope it continues to do so in the future. I know a lot of people here at on D Team hold a soft spot in their hearts for Astrobot, so always love seeing it take home more awards and accolades. But yeah, we still have a lot of 2025 ahead of us to look forward to in gaming, and I can't wait to see what's coming down the pipeline from a lot of these studios next.
all right. So I think that does it for our show. Let's get the standard shilling. Let the shilling commence.
All right,
As
if we
always,
must.
if you want to continue the conversation, we have Discord. You can join us over in our Discord channel and feel free to add any one of us. We love talking about games and anime and all sorts of different subjects. So you can check that out over at our Discord channel, link in the chat right now, as well as on all our various social medias. And if you wish to support us even further, we do have our continued partnership with Image Anime. You can use our promo code on their website, DEEscussion+, for free ground shipping on in-stock item orders over $100. So if you yourself are an anime fan or someone who is a fan of anime, let them use that code. They'll get free ground shipping on all in-stock item orders over $100. Not to toot our own horn, but we are also making our little space indie game scene. We have our wrestling-themed visual novel, Kokoro no Pro, over at our itch.io page where you can play our demo. We have the teaser trailer on our YouTube, and we also have the demo of the playable section of Kokoro no Pro over at our itch.io page. So definitely check that out. Come on over to the Discord, let us know what you think about it. I think what else we have. Been a while since I've done this. This is what happens when we wait over a month. Yeah, we got merch.
I'm
That's
sorry.
Right. So you can check out our
Buy our merch.
shop.digitalerentertainment.com. We got our t-shirts, we got our hoodies, we mugs. We got a bunch of stuff for you to check out over there. So if you want to support us, feel free to head over there, pick up some merch of the channel as well as our Coco No Pro. And like we started out our show, we do have Helldivers miniseries available over on our YouTube. Check that out. More episodes in the works and coming out in due time. But you can check out our first episode over on our YouTube as well. That's going to do it for this month. We will hopefully see you in April. If not, better late than never part 2, I guess. You know, so we'll figure it out.
So if all goes to plan,
I'm Omega Zed.
If all goes to plan, April 7th. But something best laid plans.
Right. For sure. So definitely stay tuned, and you can check us out over at digitalearentertainment.com and our Discord. And until next time, you've been decoded.
Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and follow us across social media for updates. Thanks for watching!